Britney Spears has got some serious X Factor.
And is online dating ruining your chances for monogamy?
Plus live love advice.
Today on
The Game Over Show.
We were just informed by producer Fiona in the technical department here that Baker Shoes is closing. So I'd like to have a moment of silence. That's terrible. As long as Jimmy Choo is still good, then we're golden. Welcome to the Game Over Show. I'm Charles J. Orlando.
I'm Lisa Stedman, and producer Fiona. I totally thought you were telling me about a wardrobe misfunction. I was like, what's closing? Oh, I gotta close some. I'm gonna try and keep it all strapped in, people.
We were talking about our opening, right, during the transition.
He was talking about his opening.
So when I say we, I mean me. So if the
tell us about your opening.
Well, the end scene. So
whoa.
If you can't tell, this show is
one of those shows.
Show's live, brought to you every day at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. in London, 9 a.m. in Sydney. And we love you for being here. Thank you. We've got a pretty packed show. I said packed after you said opening. So, why don't we get right to it?
Oh, Brit.
Yeah.
Brit broke up with her man and her job
in
January.
But Brit is what's hot.
Right.
Train wreck.
Lisa not paying attention. Hi, everyone. Did you know this is Game Over? And we're talking about what's hot. Specifically, we're talking about Brit breaking up with her man and her job in January.
And when she says we, she means her.
Yes. Yes. Well, January is the most common month for people to file for divorce.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that Britney divorced her job on the X Factor and called off her engagement to Jason Trawick in January.
It's interesting that she quit the X Factor, too, because I didn't see her as a really good fit for the show anyway. Mostly because she has this really, straight-up opinion that doesn't align with boosting ratings. It has to do with really evaluating talent, is what it looked like.
So she was really efficient, but not necessarily the train wreck everybody was hoping for.
No doubt.
Not a soundbite queen.
No. Okay. She gave you,
She was trying to be like an actual judge.
Yeah, God forbid. Britney, we love you, right?
Well, here's, I never watched her on the X Factor. I don't watch that show. But I love my Britney. And I don't think she necessarily quit. I think she had a year contract and it ended and she decided not to renew it. So I love how the scandal is that she's quitting. And you know what? She's opting to do something different, which she has every right to do. And she's made enough money. She can do whatever she wants.
No doubt. But I was glad to see that it wasn't a solid fit because, to your point, she wasn't a train wreck. So that was the end of it. So
my concern is now that her fiance isn't managing her. He was her manager before. He's not managing her in any way.
Really?
Well, he was her agent or manager. I don't remember which one, and there are differences, 10 or 15%. But I'm wondering how she'll keep it together. I know her dad is still kind of her conservator, but they were kind of sharing those roles, those duties.
There's all kind of fucked up mess rolling all through that, man. Wow.
I'm a huge Britney fan, and Britney, I want you to keep it together. I hear that she is allegedly going to Vegas to do a review show, and she wants to work on another album. So stick to your music, go on tour, make your money, have your life, live it.
Leave Britney alone.
Oh, we're so not going there. That's so 5 years ago.
Well, I was going to say it anyway. I'm sorry. God.
I think it's time for
He said, she said.
Online dating and monogamy.
Well, which is kind of an oxymoron when you think about it, right?
It really is. Yikes.
Yeah. Well, you read an article, right, that kind of kicked this off. So this is in the Atlantic,
on the Atlantic. It was on the Atlantic website. Really interesting article about how online dating affects monogamy. Is it ruining monogamy? There were lots of... it was great because there was incredible research and quotes from actual online dating executives. Scandalous what their quotes and their research shows.
And what do they? What do tell?
Well, one of the things that... Well, so I'm going to read you what sparked my interest about this topic. Why I wanted to do a show about it. Here is the actual quote from The Atlantic.
Which we'll post up on Facebook.com/The Game Over Show.
Already did.
And it's already there.
Okay, so here's the quote that really piqued my curiosity. The positive aspects of online dating are clear. And this is the good news, right? The internet makes it easier for single people to meet other single people who they might be compatible with, and raising the bar for what they consider a good relationship. So that's the good news, right?
Right.
Here's what's interesting, because the question is posed, what if online dating makes it too easy to meet someone new? What if it raises the bar for a good relationship too high? Too high. What if the prospect, and listen to me because this totally describes LA dating, what if the prospect of finding an ever more compatible or attractive, you insert the word, I said insert, mate with the click of a mouse means a future of relationship instability in which we keep chasing the elusive rabbit around the dating track?
So the grass is always greener when it comes to online dating is what you're describing.
Yes, absolutely. And so once upon a time I was single in LA, and I felt like I was having this dating experience because you'd literally be on a date with somebody and they'd be kind of... You could see their peripheral vision, looking to see who was hotter, better, and more interesting. Wow. So it's not just online dating, but it is a reality.
Right. Well, see, I've been out of the dating scene forever and ever,
But you talk to a lot of people about this. So on your fan page, you hear from a lot of people about this, as we do on the Game Over fan page.
Well, sure. Well, but I got a lot of problem when it comes to online dating anyway, and part of the challenges we're going to get into. But it's fascinating that. So this whole notion of the grass is always greener and the temporary state of relationships.
Yeah.
So this was, and I've talked about this on my fan page in my first book too. So Alvin Toffler is a futurist, or was. I don't know if he's still alive, but he wrote a book called Future Shock in 1970.
Okay.
That really highlights where relationships and interpersonal relations were going.
That was 1970.
1970. Okay. He was talking about the generations coming up in the 80s, 90s that were going to look at marriage and relationships very, very differently, where they were going to be very temporary in nature.
Ooh, go figure.
Well, right. Where you would end up getting into a relationship as kind of like a test. It was
43 years later and we're living this.
Well, he said trial marriages and trial relationships.
Oh, that sounded really familiar.
You would then have a relationship and then it wouldn't work out, or it would be temporary, like no big deal, and then move on. I mean, today, prenups are pretty standard, whereas you back up to 1970, and they were around, but they weren't as prevalent as they are today.
Right.
So it was very temporary.
And I think that's interesting, because as a futurist, he was really describing what we're experiencing now. And I often think, is one marriage, is one long-term relationship realistic in our very fast-paced culture? So we're going to be talking about that today too. So the first thing I wanted to mention, and from the article, was that yes, the benefit of online dating is it does make it easier for like-minded people to meet, and that's awesome. It makes you feel like you're not alone. You have more options. You have more opportunity.
Right.
But it also has this temporary factor to it that you're really facing when you go on a date and you think you really hit it off, and they're just doing the same thing with 20 million other people.
Well, they're playing all sides of the fence all at the same time. I mean,
right.
It's a state of options, right? That's all it is.
I like that.
And so you end up with these guys, and I know we're talking about a variety of other factors that play into this, but you end up with these guys who put out, for lack of a better term, a blast email to a variety of people, and they personalize the message a slight bit because they reviewed a few cursory comments on your profile. So it makes it sound close enough to good.
So it makes it sound like they've really paid attention and they're really into you.
But they haven't. And that's why you end up with these, and I'm talking mostly about men, but some women do this too, where they are totally into you over email, and then you'll have a date or you'll talk over the phone, and then they vaporize. And you're like, what happened? Well, it's because they were playing 6 different people, and, it was over. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what you're describing there.
Yeah. And that's frustrating for those of us who are in it to win it and really looking to make the most out of online dating. One of the things that I appreciate that you say about online dating is this idea that it gives the illusion that you know somebody when you really don't. What are the challenges with this?
Well, because everybody is they put their best foot forward. You know, it's an interview.
They're all
look
good, they sound good.
You got the right picture, hopefully. Like, we can talk about the challenges of profiles, right? But you have a picture, and then you put a picture in somebody else's mind of what that really looks like. You know, this is who I am. This is the persona that I'm putting forward.
Right.
And it gives you a sense that you know them. And then you meet online through chat or through email, and you get to know people. And
again, it's all really great because none of the flaws are coming out. It's all the good stuff. Even spelling, because there's spell checks. So you can't even tell somebody's a bad effing speller, damn it! I'm a stickler for that shit.
No, but it's true, right? I mean,
I didn't know my husband was a bad speller until we started making grocery lists. God! I mean, I love you, honey. You're great. Your spelling sucks.
But it does. It creates this environment where everything is peaches and cream. And it's not.
And that's so not reality in any relationship. So the idea that it's like smooth sailing and perfect and they're perfect for you. Yikes.
Yeah, totally. That just doesn't work. So,
dude, like, what the fuck is up with your phone?
Dude, I don't know. Somebody's calling. You know, I'm on the air. Don't call me.
Could you just turn your phone off? It's, I'm sorry. I was going to let it go, but it's buzzing and ringing.
It's
do you want to take the call right now?
I'm going to take this. I'll be back.
Don't mind that we're on a live show.
Yeah, right. Thank you. And it's off. Moving on. So what can you do when you're online dating about this illusion factor of thinking you know who the person is? Well, you have
What do you do?
You be patient. No.
Get to know people slowly over time. People reveal themselves slowly over time. Drink! That's our drinking cue on this show.
You have to be patient. And you have to wait for them to show their true intentions.
How do you do that?
You wait.
You wait, so don't jump into bed.
No, well, or jump into bed, but have your expectations clear, right? I mean, they're gonna. Everybody's there with their own set of expectations, and the only way you can find out what they're really all about is to be patient. You know, you're not going to find out everything that there is to know about them instantly. Yeah. So
really take your time with this.
Yeah, and that's where online dating provides. So online dating is great to give you a broad.
Great practice.
Yeah, but it's a broad spectrum of people, right? So it's an instant singles bar that's everywhere. Yes. But all you're doing is getting exposure to different people. As far as being able to like slim down the cycle of getting to know someone, you can't cheat that.
You can't cheat that.
No.
And what was this? Oh God, there was a statistic you said about the time it took people who met in the real world to get married versus time who met online, and the time is really shortened. The people who met online.
So the people who meet in the real world before they get married is 42
like 3
months.
Years or
yeah.
Yeah.
And the people who meet online and get married is under 18 months.
Yeah. Really interesting. Really interesting. Because we think we know them, not necessarily. So remember that as you're getting to know somebody. Take your time.
Now, it doesn't stand... So you can meet someone online,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. We know tons of people who've done that, and we hear from tons of people who've done that.
Definitely. Well, and the dating sites don't necessarily want you to, as we get rid of any potential for online dating website sponsorship.
Yeah, actually, in this research, in this article... Online dating executives actually said that online dating contributed to the temporariness of relationships. They said it made relationships better. It made divorce more common.
Right.
And if you're successful on their site, your business goes away. So they actually don't want you to be successful.
Well, right, they don't, because if you're playing the field, it's great.
Flipping the bird and be successful anyway. So much for our online dating sponsors.
Thank you. Try the veal, tip your waitress.
And we're headed to iDate tomorrow, Thursday. That'll be interesting. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Okay, predatory environment. Talk to me about the predatory environment.
Well, it is a predatory environment, so we alluded to this. Yeah, totally. I mean, you've got women online who are putting out their needs. And if a guy is looking to just play the field, it's kind of like what we just described.
Or play the ladies.
Well, both, right?
Yeah.
They can put out just enough to make it seem like they're interested or that they're looking for something, and they end up getting to but they get to know that person enough to kind of ping those triggers on what's going to motivate them to probably sleep with them. It lends itself to it, right? Because anybody who's on a dating website is pre-qualified, right?
Yes.
Those people are looking to enter a date, enter a relationship.
Yes, whether they're single or not.
So they're self-qualified.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's a self-qualified meat market. Got it.
Exactly. And the guys know it.
Now, the ladies know it, too.
The ladies do know it.
So you say the strong prey on the weak, and I heard one time... that a gentleman went on a date with a lady and he didn't hear from her for 6 months while she entered into another relationship. And then when she broke up with him, she was hungry, so she called him and asked him to take her to dinner. Now,
and if it works, then great.
He said okay, but I say game over to that stuff.
Well,
so ladies, don't prey on it as much as men should not prey on it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and it also changes the dynamics of things too, and this lends itself to the predatory environment.
Mm-hmm.
So because women outnumber the men online, men kind of have their choice. They can like play around. Well, that's the perception. The reality is that women have all the power.
Ooh, ladies.
You have all the power.
Did that just perk up your ears?
But you're not using it.
Tell us how we can use our power.
Because women outnumber the men.
Yeah.
Men can pick and choose, whereas women are just vying for attention and trying to get the guys to respond.
Yeah.
Totally.
Pinballing. I meant pinball.
But if you end up really, really picky and make these guys like pony up, if all these women would do that, these guys would have to come correct. They couldn't do it this way. They couldn't do it this way.
Ladies, who's in it to course correct?
Yeah, please.
To use your power for good.
Well,
to make the most of online dating.
Well, and online dating does skew other things too. So we were talking before the show. So a woman who's because of this predatory environment and how men prey on the weak.
Yep.
And I'm talking about generally about men, right?
There's
plenty of guys.
Yeah, massive generalization, but we're going with it for today.
Well, there's plenty of men on there that are using online dating for good things, right?
To find a relationship.
I'm not talking about you. Please save your hate mail. I get enough. Thank you. So
you can send it to me. I'll pass it on to him. I'll CC him. I'll forward it.
Terrible.
I promise.
There's no love in this room. So
I feel so much love in this room. Producer Fiona, I love you.
As she turns away from me, did you catch that shit?
Producer
Fiona, I love you. Perfect. Thank you.
Moving on.
So, but a woman who's...
Are we still talking about this?
Oh my god. It's like being at home here. Oh my god.
Just wanted to make you feel comfortable.
So,
I got notes from your wife.
Well, a woman who's... Let's take a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
All right.
Women or people on a scale of 1 to 10.
People on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah.
Hot scale. Got
so, and I don't have data when it comes to men who rank lower on the scale. So there was just a study done that I had reviewed. Women who rank like a 4, a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as physical appearance, attributes, etc., they end up ranking much higher online. At least that's how they feel about themselves. Because
that's self-perceived.
Yes.
Okay. Because
men are targeting those women who may not be as available or attractive or desirable in their view, right? Everybody's got it. There's a lid for every pot, right? I'm not bashing on anybody as far as attractiveness. I'm just talking about the study. So those men would then go after people who may not be high on the attractiveness list generally.
Okay.
And they feel like an 8, but these guys are predators and they're using it for their own advantage.
Okay. I get that, and I think the beauty of online dating is the 4s can feel like a 6 or an 8. I was once on a radio show with a really hot chick who was the radio host. Super hot girl. And she was talking about how she had to play it really cool at the clubs or else she got too many people approaching her. And I said to her, well, that has never been my problem, so I take a different approach when I'm at the club. So, there's nothing wrong with feeling more like an 8 when you're online. If you haven't felt that, I say embrace that. I say celebrate that. Just don't confuse that and allow predators to take advantage of you, because then you'll feel like a 0.
And that's definitely the message. Absolutely.
Yes. So I want to talk for a second about how technology does make it easier to stray.
Totally.
The kind of the subject for today is online dating ruining your chances at monogamy and successful relationships. And with technology, we have our own numbers, our own phone numbers. It used to be everybody shared, in your household. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has an email. Everybody has a Facebook account. There's so many ways to connect with people outside of your partner without your partner ever knowing. I say game over to that.
Well, it depends on what you're using it for. Some sites have taken the initiative of logging in, and I need to find the site name, and I'll post it up on Facebook.com/thegameovershow. There's a website that ties into your social profile on Facebook, and if it shows your status is in a relationship, you can't register.
I love that. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. Very good thing.
That's genius. So, the one thing I would say is when you're first starting to date somebody, and you've said this before on the show, and I think this is important, technology, speaking specifically about technology, never make somebody when you're only an option. Never make somebody a priority.
When you're only an option.
When you're only an option.
Right.
So as this relates to technology, when you're dating someone new, until you know that they are not emailing, calling, texting, sexting with 100 million other people, don't make them your only option.
No doubt. No doubt.
And have the conversation is one thing, but a lot of people can lie. So again, people reveal themselves slowly over time. I'm drunk today.
Every day.
It's true. Drunk on life.
Wait till we get to iDate, which we are broadcasting live this Thursday from iDate.
I'm going to have... that's going to be our drinking show. I have just decided. And producer Fiona, thank you.
And we are live at 2 p.m., which means we're going to be trashed by 2:10.
Well, that's Charles.
Well, when I say we, I mean me. I mean me, right.
Lightweight.
2:12, totally.
Okay. Is marriage becoming obsolete?
You know, we're going to save that. Let's go to a sponsor.
Today's
show is sponsored by Interessante. If you've been on Pinterest...
I have.
And...
Good. I'm just relating for our audience.
If you've been on Pinterest, Pinterest is awesome, right? I got her! Nice!
I'm just going to sit back and have some coffee.
If you've been on Pinterest... If you've been on Pinterest, then I'm sorry, Fiona. Pinterest is very cool, right? But Interessante, it is. I'm just relating for our audience. Interessante is the Latin / Spanish really Spanish speaking. God, our sponsors are falling away as we speak. Spanish speaking version.
Interessante, you rock. You Spanish Pinterest, you. You are muy caliente.
Go check out Interessante.com.
We really do. Sorry.
Just like Pinterest, but with some specific features for the Latin community. I hate you so much. Because I hate me. So, yeah.
Sorry, so many jokes about what would make us
please check out Interessante.com. Antonio, if you're watching, I love you, brother.
I can't go
Not my fault. So let's go to why is marriage obsolete? I'm gonna flip it on you. See how I flipped that around? Like we went to a sponsor and now I'm asking.
Yes. Is marriage obsolete? Will marriage become obsolete? Well, we don't need marriage the way we used to. I mean, it used to be, especially for women, you would live with your parents till a husband came
someone
along.
bought you
with
a dowry.
Basically.
Right.
I mean, that's reality. Now we fortunately don't live like that. We make our own money. We have our own lives. And relationships do feel really temporary. I mean, I hope I'm married only once, and I hope the hubs never leaves me. And if he does, I'm going with him. So he's kind of screwed. But I'd like to believe that marriage isn't obsolete. However, I think, like your futurist was saying, marriage or relationships in general have become incredibly temporary.
Right. Well, and that's the fast-paced culture that we're in.
Yeah.
So from a human standpoint, we're not necessarily penguins. I mean, monogamy, when you boil us down to our DNA...
Monogamy's a bitch.
It's not a natural state of being.
No.
It
is a choice.
Well, it is definitely a choice, but it doesn't perpetuate the species. One person with one person doesn't let the species grow, so we don't from a primal standpoint...
all the baby mamas with multiple baby daddies.
Well, unfortunately.
Game over.
Right, well, if it didn't have such a detrimental impact on our society, that's exactly how a virus survives, which is really what all we are.
Are you equating human beings to a virus?
Actually, I think the human species equates itself to a virus.
That is a whole other show. Did you just see how deep he got?
Well, we are. Look at all our natural resources. Look at how we...
snap. We are going in a whole other direction. Do you guys want to hang around for some more show? Or should we get to...
Well, we can go to Street Smart Love Advice.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Let's go. That was so inappropriate. Oh my God,
That's
but I so appreciate it.
It's
awesome, right? You know what she said? You know what? Street Smart Love Advice brought to you every single day, Monday through Friday.
This
here
is about
on
you.
Game Over.
We promise to get through this much better than the rest of the show.
Wow, this has been a really weird Tuesday, right? And we blame producer Fiona.
Producer Fiona.
If you have hate mail for Fiona, please send it to... What's your personal cell phone number? You can text it to her. We'll get it to you on the
By
on
the
fan
way,
page.
for someone who's so hot, she just refuses to be on camera. We will get her on camera one of these days because she is a hot tamale, ladies and gentlemen.
She is. She
And a
looks
nice chica.
Nice lady. She's very good personality. That's like guy code for, no.
All right, dudes. She's effing hot. She's got a rock star personality, and you want to date her, but she's taken.
Sorry about that.
I was going to say.
Street Smart Love Advice brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. You know, if you need cookies and milk, this is not your advice show.
Oh,
please click off
and milk sound really good.
Yeah, well,
I want some.
No, you want martinis at iDate. If you need advice, please log on to facebook.com/thegameovershow.
Feel the hangover.
Click on the message button, and we will attempt not to destroy our version of advice for you.
Yes. Oh, this is from G, it looks like.
So G says, my
Hey,
partner
G.
and I have a demanding 9-month-old baby.
Oh.
And we try to make sure we always make time for being intimate. We do
Good.
pretty good, but...
Good. Congratulations.
When it does happen, a few times a week, when he's finished, it's all over. And she's left with what she's calling blue balls, right? Like,
well, first
totally
of all, the fact that you're doing
unsatisfied.
a couple times a week, God bless you.
Yeah, but she's not getting hers. He's only getting
that
his.
Sucks. But the fact that you're even attempting, hats off to you.
Right. So
How many times a week
she
will
ends up
let it get?
frustrated. So
I can understand that.
She tries to suck it up, no pun. So his feelings aren't hurt, and it's a delicate topic, right? So she's not getting satisfied. He is. She wants to bring it up to him. Usually, what she's describing here is that at the moment, sex consists of him receiving oral and then intercourse, or just straight up intercourse. And
have you asked to receive as well?
Well, that's what she's saying. It's a touchy subject. So here's
Why
the deal.
Why is it so touchy?
Well, it shouldn't be, right?
I mean, if you're giving, why would he not be giving?
Yeah, totally. So here's you want the snarky response first, and then we'll give you real advice.
Ooh.
So if all you're doing is giving, right? So take a paper bag, blow it up, and then hand it to him as a blowjob to go, and then you're golden, right? The other side of it is that if you're not, and that's it. So if
I'm back.
get over here, and it's Lisa.
Hi.
So no, this is like a totally non-equal relationship, right?
Okay, so here's the deal. G, has it always been like this? Has it always been that you were giving more than you were receiving? I hear this from a lot of women. A lot of women are afraid to ask. They're embarrassed to ask. They're embarrassed about the act because a lot of times they feel like it takes them so long to get to climax. But the truth is, you deserve to get your needs met. So
well,
talk
totally.
to us. As someone who, I don't know personally, but we've chatted about this, as someone who gives and receives, Charles, what would your advice be to G to talk to her man about this?
Well, so the first thing is that this is a mother's perspective on sex, right? And that's something that your guy is not like totally plugging into. A woman with a child is a completely different woman than a woman without a child.
Ooh,
and he's not connecting. Well, if she's with a 9-month-old baby, either stay-at-home mom or not, like she's the primary caregiver.
Okay.
So her head is in a completely different place than everything else. So even if she's working, I don't know whether you're working outside of the home or not, but caregiving is that thing that mothers think of that fathers are out protecting, providing, right? So it sounds like he's completely disconnected from what it's going to take to move you along the path of
orgasm?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say a foreplay, but that leads to the same place. So hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
So, one of the things that you have is a mental state that's not plugged in as fast as his, and that's what he's not aware of. Meaning,
in terms of getting hot and juicy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting into the mood.
Okay.
She's got a whole bunch of
So
things
how
happening
could
in her
she
head.
suggest to him ways to help her get in the mood?
You have to have an honest conversation.
Not starting with, honey, you're not getting me off.
Right. No, because that's, to your point, like G says it here. It's a touchy subject. It would be.
I gotta say one thing that feels really game over to me about men who sex is a touchy subject for. That's your get out of giving us an orgasm free card. Be willing to like hear us. Be willing to go
get your
there.
ego out of the conversation.
Yeah.
Totally.
And really, what's going to bruise your ego more? The fact that she's going to tell you what she might like, or the fact that you don't get her off and she's eventually going to go find someone who will?
Wow.
That's street smart. Come
Well,
on.
yeah, absolutely. No, it's real. I totally agree with you. I said wow, but it's very real.
It's wow real.
And it really is. I mean, so what this guy needs to do, and what all men need to do, and if you're watching this, I would implore you to listen to this statement. If you get nothing else out of today's show, which has been like a half train wreck. So, women's bodies are complicated.
They are.
And it's interdependent on the time of the month, with the way their hormones are moving, the day that they had, what's happening in their head, the phone call they had, if they talk to their mother, like, fuck! It's just this, it's this
You're
nightmare.
screwed, dude. You're screwed.
It's
you
this
guys are
nightmare.
Screwed. We get it. We know it.
But if you take your ego out of it and you just accept the fact of what it is, then it can be something fun, right? It ends up like this. I've said this before. Like it ends up a scavenger hunt to figure out what it is that's going to work that day.
Scavenger hunt. That's pretty sexy.
Well, yeah. So, G, talk to him. Talk to him about your mental state and how it takes you longer to get in the mood. He needs to put in effort. Like if intercourse is all that you're getting out of the whole thing, that doesn't set the mood. Where's the mood? Seduction.
So here's the deal. If intercourse is all you're getting, it might be easier just not to do it at all. Like,
well,
really,
that's where she's heading.
If that's where you're headed, I get it. So talk to him about your mood. Talk to him about your clit. Talk to him about your G-spot. You'll be good.
And talk to him about how seduction starts outside the bedroom. It doesn't start when you walk in and go, "Hey, what's up? How about a little?" That shit doesn't work, right? That shit doesn't work.
Hey, what's up? How about a little?
This goes out to L. L says,
L.
I get used as a doormat.
Ooh.
And when I stand up for myself, it's not taken seriously. Do I have to basically push everyone out of my life that doesn't listen to me? I've made myself...
so this is for everyone in her life, not just her man.
Well, it sounds like it, yeah.
Okay.
Do I have to push myself out? I'm getting physically ill and I really want to learn how to treat me better. How do you stop being a doormat?
You get off the floor.
Get off the goddamn floor. So here's the deal. From my standpoint.
Yeah.
There's this special ring in somebody's voice when they mean it, right?
Hell yeah. And you know that ring. You know it.
You hear it and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're getting treated as a doormat and somebody's not listening to you, my guess is that you're still like being really demure about what your needs are.
So here's an example. Somebody does something and you don't like it and you say, "Hey, don't do that." And then they do it again and you go, "If you don't do that, I'm going to leave." And then they do it again. "No, this time I might." And you see how my shoulders are going up in my voice. I'm like, "No, I mean it. Like, this time I might leave." Yeah, right? Nobody's going to take you seriously. Own your power. Own your intentions. Be really clear and be willing to accept the consequences. So if they do it again, be willing to walk out.
Yeah, because the other version of what Lisa just said is like, if you do that again, I'm leaving. And they say, "Do you really want to leave?" And you go, "Well, no, just stop doing that." No bullshit. Like, no. So you have to be willing to fire whoever's in your life who's not meeting your expectations, and then follow through with it. Because if they're not going to respect, if you're not going to respect and value yourself, how can you expect anybody else to?
Yes, and there's a really great book that might help. It's called Codependent No More. A lot of times when people feel like doormats, it's because there's some codependency issues. So Codependent No More, I believe her name is Melody Beattie. Really excellent book for kind of extricating yourself from being in those codependent places so you can love yourself more and come from a more healthy, whole place.
Last one goes out to R, and good luck with that.
On the fan page.
Good luck with that, Ellen. We'll post it on Facebook.com/TheGameOverShow.
Yes.
R says, I've been with my on-off boyfriend for almost 2 years now.
Okay.
We are currently on a good streak. Good luck with that. And the main...
Good streak. Getting hung up on currently on a good streak. Keep going.
The main issue is her jealousy. He's never cheated on her, but anytime he goes back out or even takes a while to text her back, she flips out thinking he's talking to other girls.
What?
How can I start trusting him again?
Trusting him again. So, currently on a good streak, again, trusting.
Well, we're seeing that there's something that happened in the past. We've had a lot of issues in the past, mainly with me feeling he wasn't giving his all to the relationship. But if you let something slip here, R, you said, how can I start trusting him again? Which means he must have betrayed her trust in the past.
Yeah, I'd be curious about what that's about. Like, what happens?
So, on-again, off-again relationships are really challenging.
And good streaks and bad streaks, that equals to, like, a whole lot of mess.
So, on-again, in my experience, on-again, off-again relationships are for those who are addicted to drama.
Like yesterday's show.
Yeah.
Talked about bad love habits and being addicted to bad love.
Well, yeah, it doesn't plug itself in consistently, so you're really not happy. You're just trying to always be happy.
You know, the roller coaster sucks because there are the great highs, but by the time you recover from the low, the next great high is really mediocre because you've been in this low space. I recommend getting off that roller coaster.
No doubt. So, establish what this deal is. Why don't you trust him? And if you don't trust him, then what the hell are you doing in the relationship at all? I mean, on again, off again for 2 years. If you don't trust him by now, game over, right? Or get all the way on board and make sure he is too, and then you're golden. So work that through. If you have a question, head over to facebook.com/thegameovershow.
Yep.
Click the message button and we'll answer it here live, keeping you anonymous as we
That's our goal.
Definitely.
Yep.
And that's our show.
That is our show.
Tomorrow.
Sorry about it. Our humblest apologies. Tomorrow we're talking about, is your marriage headed for divorce? Yikes.
Yeah. We're going to be covering that in depth.
Yep.
Until tomorrow, this has been the Game Over Show. I'm Charles J. Orlando.
And I'm Lisa Stedman.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Ta.